Bonte, should we do a welfare check on Mark Willard?
Why? Why would we do that?
Uncle Mark's probably devastated with the news of Jimmy.
Oh, boy.
He's been trying to re-sign him every Tuesday for the last 6 weeks.
You know what's funny? Is that Ian Rappaport article came out in the morning?
Yeah.
And I said, dear God, here we go again.
I know the article basically saying that Jimmy Garoppolo has mutual interest of wanting to come back or whatever it was to the 49ers if everything's just right.
It was about 15 ifs in that article. If this and if that and if this and if that and if this and if that. It's like, can we just let the season play out?
No.
Please. Please, pretty please.
No, we can't.
If this and if that. If Jimmy does this and if the Niners do this and if just stop.
If my uncle were my aunt.
Everybody's always trying to be first and get out in front of something.
If it were a fifth.
Like, what? We do this all the time. It's a Doggy special right there. Anyway, Brock Purdy replaced Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday. Brock Purdy, 25 and 37, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Got sacked 3 times. Not a bad performance for Mr. Irrelevant.
I know.
Who now has to be relevant for the 49ers if they want to do special things this year.
And it's hard for me. Let's put Brock to the side for just a second in terms of breaking him down because everyone's flying off the handles on everything when it comes to the quarterback. Let's focus on the coach. I thought it was one of the great wins for Shanahan. Now, there's been more high-profile wins. Week 17 in Seattle. Niners haven't won in Seattle in forever. They haven't beaten Russ in forever. Division on the line. But that's a hallmark win to get into the playoffs, get the number 1 seed, boom, boom, boom. Then there's like last year, week 18, in LA, down at halftime. It's a signature win. Okay, take those ones to the side. It's about as good of a regular season win as I can think of in the Shanahan era with a backup quarterback. And as I progress this a little, look at some of the great coaches of all time.
Right.
They all have a win or a stint with a backup quarterback winning big-time games and stabilizing the season so it's not lost. I think of Sean Payton, who's on my television every morning, and people love Sean Payton. He's a great coach. He's had like 15 years of success. What he did with Teddy Bridgewater when Drew Brees went down
was masterful.
Absolutely. Now, most people probably think Teddy Bridgewater is better than Brock. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. All right? Bill Parcells, who you referenced earlier. Does anyone remember what he did with Jeff Hostetler when Phil Simms went out? They won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Now, I don't think that the Niners are going to do that in this situation, but that's what he did. Belichick famously did it with Matt Castle. He did it with Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo at times when Tom Brady missed those games for Deflategate. Mm-hmm. All the great coaches have some signature wins during the regular season with the backup guys. Can Shanahan stabilize this thing and win just 2 or 3 of these games down the stretch?
And get into the playoffs?
I think it would be his best coaching job.
So yesterday's game, I thought D'Amico and Shanahan did a phenomenal job. First of all, Miami was 0-7 on third down.
That's crazy.
They didn't convert 1 third down. Not one, right?
0 for 7.
0 for 7.
Only
the Miami
7
Dolphins.
third downs, too.
7 third downs. How about this, though?
Huh.
Shanahan's mind won this football game. His mind during the 2-minute drill, knowing when to call a screenplay, knowing when to get the ball out, knowing how to run that 2-minute drill.
Challenges.
Brock Purdy challenges 2 for 2 on challenges.
Thank you.
Big time.
Huge
big
challenges.
time. 2 huge challenges. 2 for 2. The Niners yesterday held the ball for 40 minutes in 34 seconds.
That's crazy.
They kept the Dolphins' high-flying offense off that football field with their backup quarterback.
I know.
40 minutes of time of possession with their backup quarterback. Was the running game explosive yesterday? Not necessarily.
I thought Jordan Mason was good.
But I'm talking about just explosives.
Yeah.
It was more of those grinded out games.
Yes, I agree.
You look at the run game overall for the 49ers. 34 attempts, they love that magic number, 30, right?
Yeah.
They only averaged 3.6 yards a pop. But 34 carries, 121 yards. Jordan Mason, 6.4 yards a pop. He was explosive. He flashed yesterday.
Oh, all
8
the
carries,
Jeff Wilson
51
Jr.
year.
people.
Yeah, and look, Jeff Wilson Jr. is a good player. It looked bad after the fact, right? Because Elijah Mitchell got hurt. Whatever. We move on. We've been waiting to see Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason looked good yesterday. We move on from Jeff Wilson Jr. We move on with Jordan Mason. He's in Miami. Mason's playing for the 49ers.
Looks good,
he looks good. And he looks good. 17 carries, 66 yards for McCaffrey. He was a workhorse yesterday. 8 catches, 80 yards. Great game plan by Shanahan yesterday, protecting the young quarterback in Purdy, keeping Miami off the football field, and D'Amico Ryan's just doing a phenomenal job of switching things up after the first play of the game.
The other thing that I can't, we haven't even talked about him, Deebo Samuel's a big-time player. When you get two big-time teams that are great on the field together, Deebo just shows up. He's kind of got like an NBA feel to him where it's like, and I'm not saying in terms of style of play, I mean like, oh, this is a Saturday night primetime game? Well, I'm in. Like I'm here for that. Deebo Samuel, when the other team comes in with high profile, whatever, this dude just goes out. He looks so ready. This is a guy coming off a hamstring, a groin. He's got like a slight knee injury.
And he was talking that talk after the game.
Dog, he looked ridiculous. And they had a couple of great runs. The one where he toe tapped it down the sidelines.
Oh, down the
Deebo's
stretch.
just a big time player.
To seal the game with the field goal now, the last 3 plays of that drive. Purdy gets sacked and get called for a hold.
Spinning
all of a sudden,
out and trying to like run around.
All of a sudden, Robbie Gold has to kick a 47-yard field goal, and you're thinking like, oh, boy, don't miss it, don't miss it. He makes it. They're up 9. Of course, they sealed the deal with a Drake Greenlaw touchdown off a sack fumble by Nick Bosa.
I thought he snapped Tua in half on that play.
Tua got rattled yesterday.
Oh,
and that's why
100%.
this defense, teams are going to look at this film. Brady's going to look at the film.
Mm-hmm.
Geno Smith's going to look at the film. Tyler Heineke's going to look at the film. Derek Carr's going to look at the film. They're all going to look at this film saying, damn, his defense is just relentless. Just relentless. It's just too much. Bosa, Armstead. And Armstead yesterday, give number 91 credit.
He played great.
Played awesome yesterday. Played awesome.
Kyle Matz and I were texting yesterday, and on the Bosa second sack, I mean, he just wiped out like 3 or 4 guys in one play. Armstead did, and just opened things up for Bosa.
Yep.
They look so good.
That play reminded me of Justice Smith when he used to open up things for Aldon Smith, the Cowboy. When he would just take two offensive linemen with him, and Aldon Smith would loop inside or loop outside, and then come in and sack the quarterback.
How about Diamond Lenore? Not looking phased at all.
No, he didn't.
I was so scared that Waddle and Hill were just going to have a field day.
Well, Waddle got hurt, and I'm not sure where he got hurt, but he had the leg injury, and he was out for a long, long time. He went to the locker room, got x-rayed, came back, had the one catch and limped immediately off the field. Waddle was a non-factor, and Tua missed him high a few times.
Tua missed everyone, and then on the one he completed, he like threw it up like a rainbow pass, and the guy's coming. Yeah, and he's coming back to it. I don't know. Just Tua did not look like he was comfortable at all game.
Tua now 0 for 2 at Levi Stadium.
What's the other loss?
The national championship game against Clemson. Woo! Didn't look good in that one. Threw a pick 6.
Tomorrow we'll talk college football because I have lots of thoughts. USC should still be in it.
Nah, they shouldn't.
Hey, do you guys think that, because you guys in particular have talked a lot about like Shanahan's play calling and him needing to kind of like look inward and change the way he kind of does things. Do you think his play calling yesterday, Joe, you said it was one of the best games he's had in a long time. Do you think that was a result of Brock Purdy being in the game and him just throwing caution to the wind? Or did facing Mike McDaniel force him to kind of look inward and counter what he might have done?
I think that's 100% what it is. Had they been playing, I don't know, just pick a
Jacksonville.
They're going to run the ball down their throat, play it super conservative, and whatever. He threw the ball 37 times with Brock Purdy. And I think not having a week to think about it and like you're in the moment, you're just trying to win the game, I think that factored into it as well.
Well, Shanahan mentioned how Miami was in a lot of cover 0, and they were blitzing the dogs, and they had to adjust on the fly. That's a little bit of Mike McDaniel's knowing Shanahan's tendency. He said, let's just blitz his quarterbacks, and let's just get after them. And Shanahan adjusted, and they beat, who is it, Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator for Miami Dolphins? They adjusted with quick screens, quick hitters, over the middle of the field, quick out routes to get into Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. Shanahan adjusted. It was one of his finer moments as head coach of the 49ers. There's no doubt. McDaniels on the sideline had a lot to do with that.
Did you see McDaniels? There was a zoom in where he's talking to Tua, and he's like, I screwed up.
I screwed up.
I'm paraphrasing
I screwed
here.
up.
But I don't know. There's some about McDaniels. I love the guy.
I
really do love the guy. But I love Shanahan more, but I love McDaniels.
Miami could be in trouble now.
Why?
Chargers next week. Bills the week after. Miami may be in trouble.
McDaniel, no S. I guess I keep adding an
Mike
S.
McDaniel, yeah, you do that.
My
sometimes.
bad.
Right.